I started out picking my colors, and I picked purple because it was kind of a calming color, and later on I used it for the prints, so it's kind of like a royal color. And then I chose green because it felt like it complemented the purple really well, and it also gave kind of a creepy, evil kind of vibe. So this is my process work for Cinderella. So I chose this one for like the beginning scenes, and then the last scene she is at the ball, so I made her a little more dressed up. And I kept this one more simple because the evil stepsisters and the mom were more glamorous in my eyes, so I kept her more simple. And then this is my process work for the prince, and I gave him more like a suit, and so it makes him look more royal. And then this is my process work for the stepmom, and I didn't like the first one. The second one I felt it looked too much like an angel, so then I went for a more evil one, and I did this for the stepmom. And I knew I wanted to keep her connected to the sisters, so I made the sisters look kind of evil as well with like the sharp edges. And then this is my process work for the bird. And I didn't like this one because I thought it looked too much like a penguin. So then I went with this one, and I wanted to keep it connected to Cinderella, so I made it purple. This was my first scene, and I was going to do a split screen, but then I decided I could just show them all together. So then I had Cinderella mopping, and then the mom in the doorway, like watching what was going on. And then I had the sisters getting ready, but I wanted to put it more into a space. So I like rearranged them, and then I made them in a room. So I put Cinderella in the front because I thought it was like mainly, she's like the main character, so I wanted to make sure she was front and center, and like everything else is going on in the background. And this is my final for my first scene. My second scene, I wanted to do the tree. So I tried out a forest kind of thing with the molly band, but I didn't like it, so I changed it to this tree. But then I wanted it at night, so then I made it dark and made the tree white, and I put the bird in the tree with Cinderella underneath. And then I was going to do a bubble to show what she was going to wish on, but then I didn't like that, so I used the dress at the bottom of the tree to show what she wished for. And then I added the castle to foreshadow what was going to happen next. Then I had the prince with Cinderella at the ball, and I had them off to the side, but I didn't like that, so I changed it to a room setting with more dimension, but I still felt like there was a lot of empty space. So then I made it one wall, and I had the entrance to the castle with the tree in the background and the bird, because I felt like the bird connected with like the mom, and so it was kind of being motherly and watching over what was going on with Cinderella. So that was my final scene. So scene 1, scene 2, and scene 3.
For your first scene, with your process work, I kind of like Cinderella in the background because I guess the family kind of shoved her in the background, so to speak. So I was thinking maybe you could kind of do that again, bring the sisters up front, and maybe shove her in the background. It's just a suggestion.
Yeah, it's a difficult decision to make because she is the star of the show, but the star of the show is in such degraded position that you have to think, you know, how much do I get if I try it this way, and how much do I get if I do it another way? I think that there's a good impulse, and the good impulse of what Tyler is suggesting is that it's so overpowering. I mean, they're going to the ball. I mean, it's just so sad that you want that to be bigger too, you know. So you think that went through, you know, those possibilities there. Maybe a shift in position again would work. I want to say that in showing your process work for the scenes, the way you shifted things around in the scenes, you really took us with you on your decision-making there. And I really appreciate that. That helps as you tell that. Other questions and comments?
I really appreciate how everything is very simplistic. Like before class, you were talking about how simple it was, and I think that with your scenes, I feel like it tells the story. And I know what goes on because I know the story, but I feel like I don't look at it and question it or at all. And I think, like, you don't need facial features, and I think the colors represent a lot too.
That's what I was going for. Thank you.
Other observations or suggestions?
I really like when you put together your characters. They're all really unique and different from any others.
I really like how you put in the last scene, how you put the tree in the background showing that it's like watching a bird.
But one thing though, I wish there was a way to solve this little problem, which is I'd like the bird to be more visible in that last scene. And I'm not quite sure how you could do that. Does anybody have a suggestion? It looks like you have the last scene highlighted. Why don't you put it in presentation mode again, so we'll take a look at it one more time. See, that bird, I would like him to be more visible to us somehow.
And that's one thing like I struggled with because it was so small, it's hard to get the shapes just right. And then if I made it too big, it didn't look like a bird and it looked like a penguin again, so.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know, maybe you could get rid of that opening, put something on the wall, and have the bird kind of ironically like perched on something inside the castle, like looking down over Cinderella. Because I don't know if you need the tree exactly, because like you said, the bird represents the mother, kind of figure taking care of her. So maybe that ironically placing the bird up there, it might symbolize that. And you can make it bigger too.
Well, what if it's an old-fashioned castles, you know, they don't have window panes, but they have windows, mainly gun turrets, I think, or not gun, but, you know, weapons, places to put weapons in, but, I'm wondering if it could make him bigger if he were sitting in a window. And again, you would probably have to lose the tree.
yeah.
And you do have that mustardy yellow, and I'm wondering if it's possible, another thought would be to create a full moon behind him so that he stood out better.
Okay.
I don't know, you know, these are some suggestions, and Andrew's suggestion, you can mull them over. But I do think that we have a stronger sense, we have a strong sense that we need to see the bird better than we do. Other questions and comments? Well, you know, I think there's some really good stuff here. I really like the way you presented your material, particularly moving us around as you made your decisions about the rooms, and that you didn't get stuck, you know, okay, I put them in the room this way, now how can I fill in the spaces or this or that? Instead, you know, you were willing to move things around, to really make some changes there. And that is a very important feature. Does anybody else have any other questions or comments about it? I think it's a good job. Thank you, Kayla.